So namaste all. So we are online on the Facebook Live for the satsang on Yoga Vasishta. Hopefully it will reach the people who are all online. Unfortunately, what happens is that we cannot interact on this, but then I get the message that you are logged in. And so let's go ahead with the Yoga Vasishta. Some people are joining today and after so many days. Or maybe that is the first time that they are joining, but however, welcome you all. Let's start with the normal Shanti mantra. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Let me put the mic closer so that you might hear better. Yoga Vasishta is a very intellectual text. That's why it is also known as Jnana Vasishta. But the idea is the same. The Jnana is supposed to take us towards the ultimate, which any other yoga is supposed to take us in that direction. And this Yoga Vasishta is divided into 6 prakaranas. The first one is vairagya prakarana, and second one is the Moksha prakarana, and third is the Utpatti prakarana, followed by Sthiti prakarana, and then Upashama prakarana and Nirvana prakarana. This is like the way the life is designed. That is in the sense that when you look at it, Utpatti is that which Srishti takes place, and then afterwards, then it is Sthiti, it just maintains, and then later on it slowly withdraws, and that's what is Upashama, and then finally it reaches the Nirvana. This is a Srishti Krama. Usually it is divided into these 4 different stages. It is the Vedanta Prakriya itself. It goes in these 4 stages. If you look at the plant also, the first thing is that it just comes up from the seed, it manifests. And then once it manifests, then actually it grows. After growing that, then it's supposed to stabilize there and then now give the offsprings, the necessary seeds and the next generation and all that. And that's what is Sthiti. And then slowly it recedes, and that receding is called as the Upashama. And then finally it goes into dissolves itself, and dissolution is what is called as Nirvana. And the same Nirvana is given as an expression as Kaivalya in in Patanjali Yoga Sutras, and Shunya in the form of Buddhistic philosophy, and the same thing is used here as Nirvana. Nirvana is a very, very profound concept where, like the fire lamp that is there, and now it's glowing, and when you put off that lamp, where is that light gone? You say that light has gone back into its source, because again you switch on the you lit the lamp, the light starts coming up. So that means to say basically the Srishti and the Laya, both these things are happening one after the other, and this is something which is in between the Srishti and Laya. What are the stages that are there in life is what is given by these 4 different stages. Now, there's another important aspect about that is that every Laya leads us again to the Srishti. Every Srishti takes us to the Laya. This is how even the Bhagavad Gita also talks about it. So, it's same concept everywhere that you can find. So these four different these six different chapters that are there in this. In the Vairagya Prakarana, that is most important aspect is this, the concept that is on the top of it is supposed to be the Moksha dwara palikas, in the sense that you have developed a vairagya, and then how then you reach this moksha dwara, and then what are the things which govern your entry into the moksha dwara, and these principles are something which is very important. And under the mumukshu prakarana, the first thing will come about the shuka, and then followed by the purusha prayatna, whatever that you referred, and then moksha sadhan, then shama vichara santosha satsangatya nirupanam. So ultimately, in the path of this mumukshu journey that you are taking place, what are the things that are important? The shama, that means to say, it is discipline, the self discipline, and vichara. Vichara means intellectually understanding it. Santosha, feeling the sense of satisfaction, and last one is satsangatya. And all these four different aspects are there in the mumukshu prakarana. And here also that the journey that he makes is something which is like Shastriji always used to say, and that after various sadhakas who are in this particular path, one particular category of sadhakas are supposed to be uttama sadhakas. Uttama sadhakas, what is the uh, significance of that? What is the characteristic of that? Uttama sadhaka, supposed to be supreme sadhakas, supermost sadhakas. For them, all that what they need is to just hear. Sravanameva alam. That means just listening is sufficient. They're already in that state. And often what we get that example for that is that Shuka. Shuka is somebody who has reached that ultimate, that nirvikalpa or that nirvana, just by listening, just by hearing once. But then why did it take for such a long time? That he knows various other things and all that, but then why did it still stay? And actually he himself confesses that his father already told him, and Janaka already told him. So all these things are there, but in spite of it, what happens is at one point of time it clicks. So a lot of sadhana that is there in the background, and all that sadhana has come to a point where all it requires is one small little friction of the matchstick on the rough surface, and immediately ignition takes place. And it might happen immediately in the life in the beginning, or maybe at the end, or it may be waiting for several rebirths. It doesn't matter. But then you are at that point of time where you all that what you need is just a strike on a surface so that it immediately happens. And in Shuka's case, this is what happened. In fact, several stories are there, and the stories that are connected with the Shuka and Janaka, that is a prominent story here. Or Shuka and his father, Vyasa, even that's also another beautiful story. What's very important is that the details of the story is not much, but the way that how it is shown, how it can be realized, it is something which is very important. There is no sadhana, there is nothing like that. It is just you just take a leap, jump, and you are there. Sadhana techniques are divided into two different types of sadhana according to the Shastras. One is the Krama Mukti and the other is the Videha Mukti. The Krama Mukti is where you go step by step, little by little, you try to understand more and more. And then once you reach that state, and then finally that you take a jump. And the second thing is Videha Mukti, that means to say it is not step by step, little by little, but it is just once it opens up. And these are the same thing that given an expression in the modern language as the one is the method of uh, orderliness and the other is chaos. So the second one is chaos, the first one is the orderliness. Patanjali, what he suggested is an orderly method where he goes step by step saying that this is what happens, and then to further deepen. This is what is the next step, next step. Like the way that as you make journey, that there are milestones and then you cross the milestone. It's an increment kind of a thing that you keep going. And then every time that you see something new, that you know that you are going ahead. So this is what is the Krama Mukti. All our Raj Yoga techniques, all our details that they give in the Karma Yoga and all that, these are the Krama Mukti, are the way that you follow step by step all those things. In fact, while giving the Raj Yoga ideas, Patanjali makes a point there very clearly, one full chapter he devoted on that, saying that in this path of Raj Yoga, Krama Mukti, step by step that you are proceeding, it might come where a particular step, there may be so many things which are very attractive. It's just only to indicate that you are making this journey and to make your journey lively. That's why these indications are there, which are supposed to be the vibhuti. Or in other words, actually, that is the way that creation's laws are also embedded in that. So this journey is something which is going on. But then unfortunately, what happens is we get caught up in that. A nice milestone that you see, you feel that this milestone is beautiful, so let me just stay here. You get stuck up with that. That's what Patanjali cautions us, don't get stuck up with the milestone. The journey has to go on. So therefore, the techniques that he suggests is to see that, cross all those things and reach the Kaivalya. So this is what Patanjali gives us. Here also, that Shuka is somebody who heard, and but then at once that he realized that position. Now you see, it is like this, that your journey from ignorance to knowledge, it is not step by step, little by little, but it is just you have a experience of wow, awe, and then that awe experience will give you that particular state. So there is no step by step kind of a thing. There was one cartoon which will very beautifully present this idea that all these inspirational kind of things, which are very, very, uh, it does not follow a particular logic step by step, but it is something which just suddenly reveals itself in front of you. And that's why he gave that cartoon, Einstein standing in front of the blackboard and saying that E is equal to a square, E is equal to mb square, E is equal to mc square, and then mc square he just sticks. It is, and the other two he crosses. That means to say, the way that Einstein arrived at the conclusion is not based on logic, it just suddenly opened in front of him. The same way about the Newton also, there is nothing like logically that he arrived at the earth is pulling the apple. Where is the logic? Where is the connection between them? All that what you see outside is the apple falling on the ground, and the next conclusion that is given is the earth is pulling the apple down. Anybody would have listened at that time to Newton, a lot of people must have listened, and a lot of people must also criticize, saying that how can it be possible? And you are just making a story out of it. It is not something that can be acceptable. So, a journey from ignorance to knowledge, a journey from what is not known to unknown to known, it's a journey which is again, it is just like a sudden spark. It's not something which is step by step, little by little growing in that process. In fact, in other words, most of the best of the research work in the regular field also, in the science field also, something which happened just like a sudden spark that came up. In fact, that's what people say, that how the invention of penicillin that happened was also like that. It seemed that the scientist, Edward Jenner, whoever it is, that he put something in the refrigerator. Next day when he came, he saw that the whole refrigerator, after a weekend he came and then found that it spread everywhere. He said, wow, it is an accident. But then from that accident, the whole idea of producing penicillin has come up. So these are all the things which show that there is a very unique contribution of sudden jump and sudden revelation that happens. And this is what is called as the Videha Mukti. Suddenly you are somebody and you became something else. You are a seed in between before, and then suddenly you become a plant and seed. The seed is gone. Now the plant alone is there. So this is what is the development that has taken place a certain way, and this is what is the approach of Yoga Vasishtha. It gives us the Sukha aspect of it. But then there is another important point that is there he brings about is the uh, in spite of the fact that we have reached that state, but we have still vasanas, we have still somewhere some karmas, some compulsion that we need to overcome that. Therefore, that moksha sadhana is something which is very important. And that moksha sadhana you can only do by shama, dhamma, vichara, santosha, satsangatya. These are the components he says that through which that you can establish yourself in that. That's why that's what the scientists will say that it is 10% inspiration, 90% perspiration. 90% is what we are going through to whatever that state that we reach to be able to establish in that. And then now Utpatti Prakaranam goes with the Paramartha Varnanam. That means to say the Varnana, example of the exalted state. There are so many details that he gives there, followed by the Lilopakyanam. Lilopakyanam is very unique because in the Lilopakyanam, Lila is somebody who shows all the extraordinary, wonderful powers in the creation and all that she goes through as a part of sadhana. Uh, then the next sutra, Aindaropakyanam, is another thing that is there, and Chitta Chikitsa Varnanam. Now, Chikitsa means basically it is the therapy that we are thinking of. The therapy is at the mind level, at the intellect level, the emotion level, deep inside that there is a therapy that is necessary. And that's what percolated physiology. So there's a lot of detail that are given in this Chodala Upakyanam and this Chitta Chikitsa Varnanam. In these areas that it is given. And then the next one is Utpatti Prakarana. Utpatti, where Drishya Dosha Parihara, that's what is the chapter that we have. That means to say, the all that what we have in front of us is a world. And this world has got something which is useful and something which is not useful. Something which is contributory, something which is not contributory. Something which is taking us the direction of progress and something else which is diverting us from the line of progress that is there. Maybe good heart, maybe good idea, maybe good thought, but unfortunately it diverts us. And there is a lot of ego that is involved in that. Very subtle way it comes about. See, therefore, the point of ego is something which is beyond the good and bad, right and wrong. There is nothing like bad involved in that, but then it drifts us away, and that's a very beautiful example. I think the example comes here itself or some other place there. Arjuna was feeling very comfortable with Krishna but both of them were very good, very nice friends. Krishna cares for Arjuna. That's something which is very important, and so things were wonderful. But then that things which are going on so wonderful brings about an ego in the minds of Arjuna, saying that, look at Krishna, such a great fellow. He's done so much out of the Mahabharata war, and he did all this kind of things. And I'm so fortunate that I'm so close friend of him, and he cares for me so much. Maybe he cares for me so much because I care for him also so much. So this is the thought that was there in Arjuna. Krishna reads this thought, and this thought of ego, thought of hankara. So he tries to make it realize. So both of them are in the forest, and Krishna says to Arjuna, "Hey Arjuna, my mouth is dry, my whole throat is dried up. I'm feeling thirsty. Can you get me water? Let me sit down on the table here, on the stone here." So Arjuna naturally felt very proud, very happy that he is of the use of Krishna. What more that he wants? He doesn't want anything else. But that ego that he wanted to be the person who can help Krishna. So Krishna also gives him a direction. Go in this direction that there is lake. I can feel the sound coming from there. You can get water. Fetch me a glass of, fetch me water so that my thirst is taken care of. Let me sit down on the stone here. Arjuna goes there, and in that river that where usually people go into the river to find water, he just goes there, washes his feet, washes his feet, everything, and then also drank water. He wanted to bring water to Krishna, so he took out a leaf, big leaf, and then made a cup out of it, and then he was about to fill the water. At the time, he saw that there was a beautiful young girl from the village. She came to the river to fill up water, and the place where normally she would get down, fill up the water. Suddenly, she saw some stranger here, seemed to be some king, big man. So naturally, half afraid, half hesitation, and all those things. Then she went to another place on the river bank, which is not so convenient for somebody to go down into the river to fetch water. She takes her pitcher and then goes down there into the water to pick up water. But in the process, she fell down into the water. She slips into the water, into the river, and then starts being driven away by the water. All these things Arjuna is observing, and what the things that can go on in his mind. So, oh my God, because of me that all these things happen. She fell down into the river because of me, and she could not take the water, and she is in danger. So therefore, he thought that it is primarily his duty to save her. Jumps into the water, saves her out. But then when she brought her out, by that time she has already taken some water into her stomach and lungs and all that. So immediately he knows the first aid, what is to be done. So he puts her on the ground and then presses her stomach, the body and all that, so that the water comes out, trapped water comes out. All that came out, but in this whole struggle that was there, she became sick. By the time she regained consciousness also, and then she was sick. She was so sick that she could not even walk to her place. So it is Arjuna thought that it is duty to take care of her, take her to her own hut. So he carries her all the way to the hut, but then she's still not very healthy, and she still have temperature, she still have sickness. So he says, I need to really take care of her whole night. Stayed there whole night, and then not one night, second night, third. In the process, fell in love with her. The whole thing continues. And then later on, he has a couple of three, four children. Children are pestering him, running behind him. Poor fellow, saving himself from the children because that they're so strenuous. One side, wife is yelling, and the children are pestering him. Finally, he ran away from all that. Somehow he could escape from that. And then there was a stone. He just lay down on the stone, just relaxing. At that time, he heard a voice, where is my water? And he found Krishna standing there. Ah, then he suddenly realized all these things started because he wanted to bring water to Krishna. Why it happened? You get into an illusion. You get easily entrapped into the world, into the illusion, though you have very good intention behind it. See, the good intention, good values, good ideas, they're good, they're fine, they're moralistic idea. But then that's not good enough, you need to go further. Drishya dosha parihara, that's what is the idea. That is, dosha is not in the object outside, dosha is not in you, but dosha is in the way that you perceive, you interact, you identify yourself with. That's what is drishya dosha parihara. And then the error. And therefore, what happens is that Atma we forget, and Anatma we take it to be Atma. It's a classically saying that we don't have that Atma Bhava anymore with us. Atma is there in the background, and we know that it is there. It's very easy to know about it because the books say, people say about it. You are nothing but Atman. Atman is behind all these things. We can understand that. Eyes are seeing, not because the eyes are seeing, but then it's the Atma which sees through the eyes. All these things are the information that we have, but then it is not yet the Atma Bhava. In fact, whenever that we hear this kind of statements in the Upanishads, always have to recognize that Upanishad says somebody who has experienced that. Like Ishavasya Upanishad, when the Rishi says, Ishavasya midam sarvam yat kincha jagatyam jagat. The idea is that it is his own experience that is there. Everything that you see around is nothing but divinity. And that he gave an expression to it. In fact, in Taittiriya Upanishad also, they give this expression to that. How, ahamanna, mahamanna, mahamannam, ahamannadohamannadaha. What a beautiful way that he plays. The moment that he comes to a discussion at that level, the Rishi is feeling very strongly within himself. Oh, what an extraordinary, wonderful feeling that I am that Anna and also I am that hunger that's there within me. Annadaha is for which, for whose sake the food is given. And that aham, where the food and the hunger become one, it is nothing but consciousness, it's nothing but the atmosphere. The Rishi is there in the Atmasthiti, and that's why you could say Ahamanna Mahamanna Mahamannam Ahamannado Hamannadaha. And therefore he says that Annam Bahukurvita. Now he has a great respect for the food, and then he says that yeah, distribute the food for everybody because that you see constantly you can witness there Annadaha and Annam, both these things are meeting together, and that meeting, that union of Anna and Annada is extraordinary, wonderful, divine confluence, divine happening. And that is the idea that Drishya Dosha Parihara talks about it. In the Sthiti Prakarana, we have Bhargava Upakhyana, and then Dama Dalaka Katopakyanam, there's another thing. Then followed by the fifth chapter, which is called as Upashama Prakaranam. Upashama Prakaranam is where now you have slowly in the process of withdrawing, going back to the source, and finally you reach that Nirvana Prakarana. So these are the five different chapters, six different chapters in which this whole Yoga Vasishtha is written. 36,000 slokas, but then it is big. Therefore, we need to get into what is called as the small little book called as the Essence of Yoga Vasishtha. But I was stuck myself at the Yoga Vasishtha at one place, so therefore I have to refer to Yoga Ratnakaram that was there, Vasishtha, Yoga Vasishtha Ratnakaram, which is which is a bigger volume or which compasses more amount of these things that are there, slokas that are there. So I was just looking into that to get some clarification that are there. So let us go to now the book of Essence of Yoga Vasishtha, where page 20th we have the third portion where he says that Moksha dware dwarapalaha chatvaraha parikirtitaha. And who are they? There are four different dwarapala, that means to say they are the checks there at the dwarapala. And then four doorkeepers. And who are they? And they are Shama. Shama is the inner control, external control to calmness. And they Vicharaha, the second one is the inquiry. And then Santoshaha, the contentment. And the fourth one is the Sadhu Sangamam. These are the four things that are there. Now, what happens is that we are, Rajagopalacharya said something very beautiful. He said, good is not good enough. Bad and good, bad is certainly bad, certainly not required, and certainly it is not good for the society and good for individual also. It disturbs the society, it disturbs the individual. That's why we need to come out of the bad. And to come out of the bad, we don't require anything extraordinary. That we recognize that the bad is something which is not useful. And bad unnecessarily brings about problem to you, suffering to you. And why do you want to become bad? You just want to make an advantage, take an advantage of your position, take an advantage of your money, riches, intelligence, or whatever it is. And because of all those things, we take the advantage of all this world in a wrong way, and then you can create a problem to the world outside. That's what is bad. You have wealth and you have goodness, you have knowledge, you have this. If you can use to guide somebody else, it is useful. Similarly, that you have money, useful. If you can give it to somebody who needs it, use that. In fact, the name of the money is supposed to be currency because it is like that, it flows. So therefore we need to use the world, we need to use whatever that we have in this world to see that we give it to the others, we share it. In fact, this is a part of Krishna which Bhagavad Gita says that it is yajna. That means you need to share with others. And that sharing is something what is very important. Like the way that knowledge, we have a yajna towards knowledge. That means I have the knowledge, I pass it on this knowledge. Before that, I try to see that I acquire the knowledge, I make it an experiential, and then I enrich it by various examples and make it current, make it today it is available. And afterwards, you pass on to the next generation. All these things are there to see that I give it. So therefore, basically, it's all these things are to give to the world outside, we acquire. So this is the first aspect of it that we see, that we give these things to the world outside. Now, in order to be at the moksha, what is the first thing that is there at the moksha dwara is that this good that is there to give is something which is very important. If I don't give, then I have not done anything wrong. I have acquired, but I just, whatever that I acquired, I just amassed it and I did not give it to anybody else. And then what happens is slowly and steadily, you forgot what is the use of it. In the sense that, first of all, money was necessary to give you the comfort, to give you whatever it is. For that, you need money. And then you start getting the money. And slowly, what happens is that getting the money becomes your mission rather than using it and then making it feel happy, good, and all those things. So slowly, it slips away from your hand. Therefore, in this culture, what we said is that you take it, but then you distribute to the others. You give it to the others. You see that the others proceed further. So this is what is the idea, from bad to good that you go, but then good itself is not good enough. That's what Rajagopalacharya said, that you need to go beyond that. And what is that beyond that? That's something which gives you moksha. Why do you have to think of that this is what is moksha? Because the simple thing is, very fact that you don't want to give it, you have it, and you know that money can do it, that riches can help it, and it's a genuine reason. Everything is there, but in spite of it, you don't give it because that you are holding on to the money, you are holding on to the objective world outside. As long as you hold on to the objective world outside, then the freedom is not there. The world does not hold on to you to give you the freedom. In fact, the home does not hold on to you. Objective world does not give you hold on to you. Your knowledge does not hold on to you. In fact, all those things are something which is giving you freedom. Money is very idea is to give you freedom. Your house has to give you freedom. Your position has to give you freedom. Not only for you, through you to many others. That is the kind of idea that we have. Even the rich is supposed to give you freedom. But then you don't want to give up. If you did not lock your house and went out, suddenly after going far away, next village or next place, someplace, suddenly you remember, you start wondering, did I really lock up the house or not? And you start worrying about it. It's you are worrying about the lock, worrying about the house. House is not worrying about you. House does not hold on to you. House is welcome for everybody. And house is there to give comfort for others. Anybody comes there, gives comfort to that. But then you do not have that freedom, misery, because that you are caught up in that, because you hold on to it. Therefore, first thing that we need to have is to see that I should be able to leave it alone. I should be able to go ahead. This is what is basically the internal discipline that we have, is the shama. And shama is that I have to have that peaceful, tranquil state of mind. Whether it is a success or failure, I gain or I lose, whatever may happen, I have to have that tranquility within me. When everything is all right, be able to be in tranquil state is easy. But only when the situation comes where it is trying, it is difficult, it is easy, it's not so easy to digest. When you are in that kind of a state, it is that moment that where you require all this tranquility. So that's the reason first thing that is Dwarapala who's there waiting for your moksha is that do you have that tranquility in opposite situations and trying situation, difficult situation, and something which can easily hurt you in such kind of situation, do you have that tranquility? How many people can we see that they have that tranquility in difficult situations, especially when they face a situation where they're insulted, their whole balance, their whole homeostasis, the peace that is there has been turmoil, disturbed. That's what is Shantamurti that we require. That's what is Shamaha. But at the same time, that you don't have the power of discrimination, power of analyzing, understanding. It's not that it is not there. We have that. But then we have that, together with that, we have peace, which means to say, I have the intellect, I can exercise the intellect, but I don't become like a slave behind the intellect. I'm the master of the intellect, therefore, I can still have the tranquility behind it. And this is there in our day to day life. You can come across situations where it can easily disturb us, it can easily agitate us, and that is where we require shama, followed by the vichara, and then third is the santosha. In fact, the whole idea of santosha comes from tushti. Tushti means a sense of satisfaction. A sense of satisfaction, when you get it, is when you are desiring for an object and the object comes, that whatever you desire, and it gives you the sense of satisfaction. So that is what is tushti. Yes, I want to pass the exam. I passed the exam, so therefore I'm satisfied now. I'm looking for some job, and then I got that job, well paying, and all those things, and no clue, not very far from my house. Oh, I feel satisfied. So, like that, we have satisfaction here and there, some object, something like that, it is there. But you look at every moment that you reach that sense of satisfaction, what is happening is that object itself is not giving the satisfaction. The world outside is not giving the satisfaction, nor even the senses are giving the satisfaction. Senses are only the entries for you. And then through that entry that you go inside, that's what is the satisfaction that you get. But really, Santosha here, what he says is that it's not that object or sensory organ or this situation or that situation, but you are yourself established in that supreme level of satisfaction. Therefore, you don't have to worry about various other things at the other levels. See, there are two ways of functioning in this world. One way to function in this world, you are constantly worried, constantly caught up in this, and then managing in this world to see that you are crossing one situation or the other. The other way of doing it is that I'm happy and involved in the world outside. One person is that he involves in the world for the sake of happiness. Another person is somebody who involves in the world happily. He has no agenda. He has nothing to get. He is satisfied, supremely satisfied. Two advantages in this particular thing. One is that you are constantly on a lookout which can give you satisfaction. You are constantly on a lookout in the world outside to see that which gives greater satisfaction than the other in a competitive way. So you are constantly in that competitive way, you are looking at it once you are not satisfied within yourself. Monday I was working as an engineer in those days, and I mean I always used to have the foreign trips and all, and then I used to go without any pay. Fine, it was okay with me, and I was always happy person. And then one day, myself and my friend we came to the office together, and then at the administrative counter or accounts place, That lady looked at him and said, "Sir, you have a check from the corporation. Monday morning when you come to the office, you hear somebody telling you that you have a check from the corporation. Wow, what a wonderful news it is." So immediately I can see on his face that 10 bulbs have grown together at one point of time, full of glory. And then immediately he went there and signed, took the check, verified it, about 8,000 9,000 rupees. I mean, those days it was big money. So I was so very happy. But then his happiness did not stay for one minute because I was there with him. He signed, took the check, and then we were about to say, asked I was not asking that lady for anything, but he was worried. He said to that lady that, but what about Raghuram, sir? He doesn't have any check. Said, what is there? He doesn't even draw salary. Where is the question of arrears for salary? He doesn't have any check. It didn't depress me, but it depressed him because he could not compare with me. How much he got. Then I saw that once he went to the office, that he went around various tables, places, everybody's, and then found out what is the check that they got. And he would come back to me and say that he got 4,000 rupees, he got 5,000 rupees, he got this, he got that. Nobody exceeded his 8,000 rupees. Suddenly here one person comes and then he said, I got 12,000 rupees. Finish, you can see the misery. Immediately it came up. The santosha that we have, it is not because of the object outside, but you are established in santosha. So Dwarapala sees whether you are santosha yourself in that state. And Chaturthaha sadhu sangama. Absolutely important. It is necessary to see that we find out. People are the such situations, circumstances where you always get the chodana, get the inspiration in this direction. Like the way that the world has both these things that are there in the world, good and bad, right and wrong. And when I say that bad, it's not really bad. It's like the way banana is there, peel is also there. Peel is doing its job, banana is doing its job. Coconut shell is there. Inside that beautiful coconut water is there. Shell is also doing its job. Water is also doing its job. There is no difference between these two things as far as the creation is concerned. But for our purpose, banana peel is bad and then banana is good. Therefore, we take out the peel, throw it away, and then eat the banana. So that's a very simple idea that we have. We don't even think twice just to leave the banana peel and then take it. So therefore, we can easily go in that direction to take the banana. That's what is all right. So at the simple level, at the banana level, all these things are okay. But little more deeper, that there are certain kinds of foods which are very tasty, very juicy, very nice. You really enjoy it. It gives a kick to you, but then they are not good for you. See, that's where the dilemma comes into the picture. What's good for me, what is not good for me, what I can take, what I do not take. So you are caught up in that particular kind of a dichotomy. This is where we require a support of the society that is there, and the support that we create that society support is a society support which can give us, take us in the right direction. It might take an effort to get into that. It's difficult to get the satsangatva. The moment that you come to satsangatva, you always find that there are some people who are going in the wrong direction, bad direction. They may come to some ashram and all those things, but there also it's a wonderful place where you can give an extraordinary, wonderful boost to your spirituality, spiritual direction. But how many people who are there in the ashramas who try to cheat the ashrama, make money out of it, or who pursue their ego in the ashrama and their power in the ashrama? My God, how many ways that the corruption enters into us. It looks like that, it's like the corruption, the mind gets into corrupted way 100 times, 100 times. And you don't have to blame the guru for that, the chief for that. But the situation is like that, there is possibility. Unless until you seek the satsangatva. It's like the way that the garden, if you don't take care of the garden, then the weeds come up. All the other unwanted plants grow up. Whereas the actually useful plant that you planted, the flower plant or the fruit plant of your choice that you plant, it will die in the whole process. That will die, and then the whole garden becomes like a bush. So you are entering into the bush in the world outside, whether it is in the market or whether it is in an ashram. I always keep saying, and I see some people who are doing that kind of a thing in an ashram. And if you want to cheat, if you want to do all those things, make money, you can go to the market, and there you can do it without killing your conscience. But here you have to kill the conscience. So therefore, it's so easy to grow the negativity. It's very difficult to grow positive. You need to really work day in and day out, remove the weeds, and then be in association with the fruit, with the flower tree, with the fruit tree. And it's a continuous field work that you need to do. And this is the work which Gurdjieff says that it's a hard groundwork or the field work, or he says that irrigation that you need to do. Without that irrigation that you do, you cannot really grow ahead. That's what is satsangatva. The most important irrigation that we do is to see that you try to acquire the company of those people, go to their people, where you can hear only these kind of things and be with that. Don't get caught up in the other things and then go. This is what is satsangatva. It's something which is extraordinary. So, and this particular thing, unless until you put your effort behind it, you cannot get it. It's a conscious sadhana practice. Conscious sadhana, when I say that, any particular moment that your consciousness is drifted from that, as I gave the example of Arjuna earlier, any small little event that takes place, immediately it can drift you away from your path. You have to be very careful about that. So therefore he says, Ete sevyam prayatnena chatvaro dvayu त्रयोदया एकं वा सर्वयत्नेन सर्वं मृत्सुज्यते संचयेत. All these four are the like the way four pillars, four walls, four holding tight your spiritual journey that is there in that direction. Shama, Vicharaha, Santosha, and Sadhu Sangama. All these four are necessary. Of all these things, if you constantly practice the Shama, which requires your constant awareness, the first one, then all other things come into the picture. They also try to help you to grow. I mean, independently that you can try to grow, but then this one, when you take it up, the Shama will help you to grow. In the Vichara, Shama will help you to grow. In the Santosha, and then also you go in the case of Sadhu Sangha. It's very, very important, because that when the moment that Shama is not there, then your Vichara is only for the sake of argument, for the sake of logic that you are doing, but not really helping you to go in the form of right direction. This is one aspect of it. Second thing is, a lot of people, the moment they think that they are in the sadhana, they think that having that discrimination ability, that questioning ability, is like you are criticizing somebody. You are not accepting your guru, and then you are doing guru droha. I mean, these days I hear so much, because that there are so many fanatic gurus that they have created. They say that the students, if they don't follow this 1, 2, 3, 4, they question me, then it is Guru Droha. And Guru Droha is supposed to be the worst kind of evils that you can acquire. In fact, any other Droha, that means cheating on somebody else, it can take you to only one life, whereas Guru Droha can take you to 7 lives. I don't know who created all this equation for that, but basically, the people who are supposed to be the gurus who would just want only the servants, not the followers, not sishyas, but the servants, or they want to ride over their shoulders. That are the kind of people that they are doing. They have created that. A guru is somebody who does not stop your vichara, and he will encourage your vichara. That's why in the Taittiriya Upanishad says, Ati Prashnan Puchasi Brahmishtosi. You're asking such wonderful questions. Inquiry is very good. Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, same way, once Niranjanananda, He tries to question Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. For some occasion, Ramakrishna laughs and says, "Yes, you should have all these questions and question and day in and night, and then finally find out. Then, whatever that path that you follow, you are concretized in that particular path." So, Sarva Yatnena Ekam va Sarvayatnena Sarvam Utsujyate Samshrayet. Then, once you have the Shama and Vichara, naturally, the next thing that you would like to think of it is Santosha. It doesn't require much to understand that I can be in the sense of state of satisfaction. We have never questioned that. We have never even inquired about it. That if you start inquiring about that, you saw that you can be assured yourself. Santosha is your own nature, your own quality. As a child, you can see that blissful all the time. What prevented you from being blissful all the time? We have unnecessarily used negativity in our way of life. And then, when you are following these kind of principles, all the others drop off. What stay with you, what stay along with you, what go along with you is the satsanga. Satsanga is not just that somebody who has an extraordinary, wonderful knowledge and then uh, you go to him and he can talk and you can make notes out of it, you can understand. So, this is not the kind of satsanga. Satsanga is that which provokes you to become one with the Sat. That means one with the ultimate reality. This Sangha is that which makes it difficult to go to that Satsanga, which comes in our way again and again, that takes us away from that, because the priorities, there are different priorities that they are spelled out there. Whereas Satsanga is that the priority is spelled out there, the situation that is there is something which takes you in that direction, the right kind of direction that is there. So, Narasayana Panena, it is the 42nd Sutra. Narasayana Panena, Na Lakshmya Alinganena, Tatha Sukha Avapnoti, Shaminantat Maya Manaha. He gives the qualities of Shama, importance of Shama. Once you get the Shama, you get everything else. The same way, Yani Dukkhani Yatrushna, Dukkahate Duradhaya, Tatsarvam Shamachintyesu, Tamo Utkarsheshvacha Nashati. That's what is the 41st Sutra. What happens is that um, a small little jolt that occurs in our life, some big loss that takes place, something which is like a calamity that happens, and all those things that what happens, and whether it is dukkhani or trishna. Trishna means desire, greed, the dukkhada. Tat sarvam shantachet. Whatever that is there, the quality, what is the important quality between these things is that whether it is a calamity or whether it is a sadness or whether it is a desire, it's a greed or hurt or ego, when all these things happen, first thing that happens is that there is a big wave that comes up within you, an agitation comes up within you. There's a jolt that happens, not only in your blood pressure, in your cholesterol level, in all these things that happen. That's what causes our sickness. Most of the cause for our sickness is suddenly that we are subjected to a impact of this kind of a thing that is there. It may be loss of money, it may be loss of this thing. How much it disturbs you, how much it agitates you. Not only the loss, many times what happens is that even the happiness that you get can also make you topsy-turvy, can disturb you. So in both the cases, that means that your Shanta Chitta that is there, balanced state that is there, suddenly it gets a kick either in the upward direction or downward direction. Many times what happens is the downward direction we can still withstand that because we still have enough to see that we survive. But then in the upward direction, whatever that takes place, immediately it agitates you, disturbs you. And when all such agitation, disturbance comes, one thing that can bring us the balance is this particular shama. Yat sarvam shanta chittastu. All these things are in the mind and shanta chitta. That means I just close down my eyes and then I take a deep breath. I make myself available for peaceful state of mind. I put everything else aside and I say to my mind, okay, now let my mind, which is aware, let me try to look into what can be done. One Shanta Chitta is something which can be a solution. Na rasayana panena, not by, yeah, a lot of people when they are into difficulties, they try to seek a solace in the objective world outside, either in the form of drinks or the drugs or the smoking and this and that. All the evils that people acquire is because that they have something which is as a restlessness that is there within them. Rasayana panena. Yeah, people think that drinking is a problem, but actually drinking for somebody else, it's a solution for the problem they already have. We try to blame the drink and try to remove the drink, but this problem is not solved. The problem is not addressed. Therefore, we have to elevate that person's psychology in such a way that where he sees the problem, there's no more problem involved in that. So that elevation is something that will give you the satisfaction comes out of it. Yani dukkhani yadrishna dukkha duradhi rasayana panena. It is not by drinking anything. And then many times what happens is that if I have enough money, enough to take care of it, or even the very imagination that all these things I'm going to get the enough money, and that money is something which I can really enjoy, live. We all live in that kind of an utopian state. We imagine and then we live in that. That's what is the story of, you know, uh, where you are in the dream world and the dream world that you kick the basket and then the whole thing is gone. You get into disaster. We always try to live in the dream world. We always try to live in that world where we have imagination and then we say, when that imagined world we did not achieve, that's when we get into the Sheikh Chali story, like where we get into the problem. So, so all these things that are there, in fact, when you look at it, what is that which is the drink is trying to give you? If you look at that, what is the drink that's giving you? It is the mind which is agitated, disturbance that is there in the mind. It only helps us to see that that disturbances in the mind that is there is either gone back into the shell or they are suppressed, not available for you anymore. You are free from that. So therefore the drink gives you the idea of mind becomes tranquil, peaceful for that moment. As long as the drink effect is there, the mind becomes peaceful. That's what gives you the satisfaction. That's what gives you all the freedom in the sense that whatever the shackles which are holding on to you, you just come out of the shackles. In fact, I see in a lot of cases where in the office that there is a very strict hierarchy, the boss and subordinate, and this is something which is acquired from the British time, and this is so strong that is there. But the moment that both of them go to the drink party and then they drink together, the moment they drink together, they behave as if they are friends. They are no more boss and subordinate. They can talk very easily, nicely. A cat was chasing a rat. Rat was running for his life and then escaping from the cat. Runs and runs and runs, and the cat follows behind him. Finally, that there was a drum of liquor that was there, alcohol, and the rat fell into that, and then because it fell in the water, drum, whatever the liquid that is there, whatever the liquor that is there, drank, and he came out. The moment he came out, he says, stretches his chest, and then with loud voice he says, "Where are you, my dear cat? Come here now. I can take care of you." Now, what happened to all that fear? What happened to all that running away from that weakness that is there? Everything drops the moment when we are in the sake of drink. It is basically the fear that is there in the mind, the agitation that are in the mind is removed. So therefore, whatever happens is that sukham avapnoti, you get the sukha, because that there is actually behind that is a peaceful state of mind. That is what the advantage of rasa, rasayana pana. The same way about the Lakshmi. Many times people think that the problem for their misery is the poverty. They don't have money. Yes, to some degree that poverty is okay. If you do not have the basic necessities for you, yes, you try to get the basic necessities, take care of it. I don't deny that taking care of basic necessities. And in order to take care of basic necessities, you don't have to really go anywhere else. In fact, the world produces enough to feed everybody on this face of earth. Everybody's need, the world can take care of it. But the world becomes poor when question comes out of greed. We are not behind the need, we are behind the greed. And the moment that we can realize that we are behind the need, not greed, then you see that your life is comfortable. Your life is not something which is disturbing at all. So, the money that you get, the Lakshmi that you follow, is to see that this need is taken care of. That is supposed to be the first thing. But look at another very important aspect of it is that even the comparison that you want to do it and you want to choose the group to which that you try to find the comparison. You don't want to compare yourself with somebody who does not belong to that group. And that doesn't even bother you. Your mind is not disturbed by the people who are not in that group that you would like to compare yourself with. A simple example that I can give is that a wealthy, rich person, stinkingly rich person, and that the lady is there in the house and she has all kinds of jewelry, variety of jewelry to wear on different days and different occasions because the stones that are there, some astrologers say these stones are good for this, these stones are good for that. All those things are there, and then she wears. And then the, the servant who is there is very happy, saying that, look, my mistress is somebody who's so rich. Every day she can change all those things and the original kind of jewelry. And then she's very happy. She even takes care of all that jewelry of that madam that she has. She never compares herself with that madam. Things are okay. But then the next door, similarly, that another wealthy lady, rich lady, stinkingly rich family, and the lady in their house also that she has various varieties of things. And that servant also is very happy because they're all very nice people. They don't have any idea of stealing the material from them because the generation after generation they continue to be the servants. Therefore, they don't steal. And then she is also very proud. My mistress has all kinds of things. In fact, when these two meet, that they boast each other, saying that, my boss, she has so many things now. The new car has come and standing in the under the garage. You know whose it is? It's our car, my madam's car. So that she is proud of it. But then the same thing when that next door neighbor lady, the cleaning lady, she has got a new necklace which is made out of roll gold. It is not the real gold. It's only the imitation one, which she does not have it, which is worth just only about few little chips that is there. Immediately she feels jealousy of that. What she did not feel the jealousy with the master. She did not feel that jealousy with her rich person, but she felt jealousy with this person that she is there, the next door neighbor. She is also like the cleaning woman, like you are, but at the same time, she has one extra now jewelry made out of roll gold. Now, come what may, I must have that kind of a thing. Or she got some new toy for that child, for her child, immediately you must get some new toy. You should go to Channapatna and get that toy for your child. See, all these things come up. That means to say, you choose the company where you can feel the misery. Misery you invite. You come out of that shama, and the satisfaction that you get is kritakrityata. Yes, I got what I wanted. So again, the satisfaction at that level is also the question of satisfaction of shama. So even the object that gives you shama, the satisfaction, is an object which gives you shama by quietening your mind. Mind is yours. Mind is within you. Just like it is your body and your prana, your intellect and all that, same mind is also yours. Why do you think that we need to have an external support to take this mind to that quietude? Why don't you practice the shama by itself? This is what a very important sutra that Yoga Vasishtha gives us is that object itself does not give you happiness. An achievement itself does not give you happiness. A situation outside itself does not give you happiness. It's not there anywhere in the world outside. The happiness is there in your shama. Peace is there in your shama. Your tranquility is there in your shama. And shama is that peace of mind which you can practice. You want to be in that state and you be in that state. It's not any compulsion or anything like that. It is not that anything that you need to do it. It's your mind. You say the mind, okay, let me be quiet. Let me be with that quietude. That's what is the thing which gives me satisfaction. So, Narasayanena uh, na Lakshmiya Alinganena, that means to say you are embracing the Lakshmi. Tatha Sugamavap Noti Shaminan Antaryatha Manaha. It is deep inside mm, of your heart, deep inside when your heart, you have practiced that Shama. The Shama that we get is not the Shama that is, well, I don't get it anyway, I cannot afford it, so let me not worry about it. It's not out of defeatism. It's not out of I cannot anyway get it. It's not out of your inability, but it is something which is a shama that you consciously practice that. You don't have to go for that object outside. It's like the way that Ramakrishna Brahmasa has that temple and then there was a priest there and everything was there. And he was blissful. And people thought that he has everything there, nice house, and so therefore he is blissful. But when he doesn't have that, what will happen? In fact, two people came from Calcutta all the way to Dakshineshwar to see Thakur afternoon. The moment that they came inside and the Thakur goes inside, welcome them inside, Badar Purush, please come inside. Make them to sit on the mat that was there, nice, wonderful, comfortable mat. And then he was sitting on the table, a cot that is there. He uses actually one cot for sleeping, another cot, the lower level, where he sits and discourses he gives. Even till today, Thakur's room is decorated that way only. So Thakur sits there and then tries to talk to them. So it seems that you are coming from Calcutta. Yeah. So how is everything in Calcutta? How is everything? How much time did you take it? The hot sun that you walked? All these things he said, and those people, yeah, yeah, the conversation went on. So Thakur now comes to the issue saying that you come all the way from Calcutta. Maybe that you wanted to see me and ask me some question because people come here for asking the question. Yeah, we wanted to ask you, Thakur. And then they said that as a introduction. Then looking around the room, looking around outside and all that. Immediately Thakur says that yes, you want to ask some question, you can ask me. Don't worry about it, you can ask me. Yeah, we want to ask a question. Yeah, we want people call you Paramahamsa, we want to ask you that. But then what? I mean, Paramahamsa and all that, leave it aside. But people come to me to ask questions so that they get the piece of wisdom. They can ask me. No, that's fine. That's good. People come to you to get the wisdom. But then people call you Paramahamsa. But then no, all that these this cart belongs to you. This cart belongs to me. The temple has provided me for all this with all those things so that I'm comfortable. Oh, I mean, you want to seek the comfort of this particular, this body, it needs that kind of a comfort that is there. And also that you have a nice room and also umbrella and then clothes. Yeah, I love to wear nice clothes, good clothes. I want to look good. All those things are. But then Thakur didn't understand why they are asking all these things. And then they continue to ask, and then Thakur asked, Come to the point. What do you want to ask me? Yeah, and so you have all these things nice. Now Thakur realized that it seems that it is going a different direction. Yeah, I love good food also. Very nice food. I can't compromise on that. I like good food. And particularly, I like the food, particularly that Sharda cooks, my wife, and she's certain, oh, you also have a wife, and you're a param. Yeah, and then you have a nice mosquito net. Yeah, mosquito net is there. How can you call it one? I don't know why people call me Paramahamsa, but they call me Paramahamsa. Now Thakur is joking with them. There is no need for calling them, people calling me Paramahamsa, because I have all these things. Yeah, I think that's a mistake that we are coming a wrong way. And then Thakur said, yes, I think that we have made a mistake of coming here all the way. So then they take leave of Thakur. They said, okay, we will leave. Go ahead. So they started walking, and Thakur suddenly called them back. Hey, Badar Purush, come back. And now halfway they went, and then they thought that Thakur is now giving them a proper explanation because why he called us Paramahamsa. They came running back to Thakur, and when they came inside, Thakur showed them that look, I also have a mosquito net, and I also have an umbrella here, just to tease them further. The moment he said, listen to that, they ran away. So therefore, basically, that the object that is there, it is not that object is there, but how much that you use that object, how much you're attached to the object. That's what is important. Shama is that where you have the object, but then ultimately, whatever that happiness that you get, it is not the object which is giving you, but then it is the shama that makes you to touch that state. That's what is giving you the object. Uh, Tatha sukam avapnoti shamena antaryatha. If I say where basically that shama that is there. Tapasvishu bahugnyeshu yajakeshu nrupeshu cha balavatsu gunadhyeshu shamavanena rajataha. Somebody might have done a lot of tapas, burning himself, going through all kinds of hardships. Ah, these days, tapas is like people doing all kinds of acrobatic postures, and they're proud of doing those postures, proud of doing those particular yogic gymnastics and all those things. And bahugnyeshu, that means a lot of knowledge that you have, you can quote from one to the other, this to that, all those things. Yajakeshu, that means so many yajna yagas that people perform. Time, relentlessly, without any gap in time. I took care of this yajna, that yajna, Mrityunjaya yajna, Sudarshan yajna, all kinds of things that are there. In fact, every time that new and newer yajnas are created. And Rupeshu, somebody who is king, bigger kingdom, much bigger kingdom, and all that. Balavatsu, somebody who has so much of strength. And then Gunadhyeshu, yes, a puritan. And then I like only something which is pure, something which is good, something which is like this. In fact, these days I see that the moment people come to the field of yoga, it they can come to a exhaustion after about an hour of practice of yoga, 2 hours of practice of yoga. The next thing that they go into most of the time is what is called as the yogic food, pure food. Wow, so much volumes and volumes are written about this food. Every time people come up with a new formula and the new idea saying that what is the pure that is there. And then with all those things, gunadhyeshu, that there's all kinds of guna that is there. And finally, what is that which shines, which helps you to see that you become big, you become respected, and you also enjoy the world outside? Is that when you have the peace of mind within you. Your mind is peaceful, your mind is tranquil. So ultimately, that is a shama, is the first and foremost kind of a dwarapala that is there. It's so important, so rich, much better than all those things. which indicates that you may have all kinds of things. But the moksha does not look at what all the things that you have. Moksha looks at, do you have this shama? So, like that, every one of these four qualities that are there has extraordinary contribution towards your moksha. One particular thing that can give you today we can mention is that shama. That's what is much more important. Peace of mind is something I cannot barter with that peace of mind over anything that's there on this earth. That Shama means that peace of mind. Let's try to go toward that peace of mind. All the sadhana is to be in the peace of mind. In fact, at another place that Yoga Vasata gives us an idea saying that even practicing of meditation, etc., are also is just for the time pass. If you can sit down peacefully, there is nothing greater meditation than that. So, in fact, he says that the peace of mind, that shama, is something which is extraordinary. He says that in another sutra where he says that all these practices of uh, tapash, all those things, tapayajnadi, these are all these things are there. Kalati vahana yaiva vinodaya tapakriyaha. Such a person who is just peaceful inside, he uses this tapakriyaha, all the practice of tapa, kalati vahan, just to just be peaceful, just be vinodaya. That means say it is like the way a play for him. Even the tapas should be like a play for him. Kalati vahana eva vinodaya tapakriyaha. Even tapakriya should be like that. It should not be taken very seriously. That's what is the indicator that you are the practicing of the shama. So with these ideas, we'll stop it here. We'll continue for the next meeting next Tuesday, the same time. Continue with the Yoga Vasishta. Thank you so much. Om Namaste. Om Shanti 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 and Shanti.